Welcome to the hit show, Questionable Conversations Radio, with Dr. Glenna Rice on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Are you a busy parent? Are you deeply invested in your personal health and success? Questionable Conversations Radio is a space that explores different parenting methods, examines healthier lifestyles, and explores what else is possible to guide you toward a successful career. Is your fast-paced lifestyle draining all of your energy? Join Dr. Glenna as she shares her motherly wisdom, offers her expertise in body transformation, and gives insights on her personal experience as a successful businesswoman. The answers are in front of you. All you need are the right questions. Now, here's your host.
Hey, everybody. Questionable Conversations. Dr. Glenna Rice. Yes. And what we have going on here is Kass Thomas joining us here today. Why? Because when we think about what we're learning about ourselves, about our bodies, about our energy, we're looking at how things get integrated. One of the things we know for sure is that there is something about our energetic fields that can easily be changed. And yet at the same time, we don't do very much to look at that. But when I think about the many, many times that I've thought to myself, well, maybe I don't want to put on that piece of clothing. Maybe, I just wish if I could have worked out at the gym more. Wait a minute. Let me do this. Let me do that. Look, this is a show that addresses guilt, shame, self-confidence, perspective, point of views about our body, and more importantly, what the possibilities are. Joining us here today as well, Kass Thomas, as well as Dr. Glenna Rice. Kass, let's talk about this. Today's show is body mobbing.
Absolutely. Body mobbing. What the heck is that, right?
I love it, though.
I love it, too. Actually, body mobbing, we think about mobbing, we think about crowding, overcrowding, and also bullying, right? And how many ways, do we bully or overwhelm and crowd over our bodies? But also what, as you were saying, Dr. Pat, what are the many ways in which our body gives us the signal that, hey, I'm about to be overwhelmed here. This atmosphere is not working for me. This person is not working for me. This situation is not working for me. And we ignore that and we keep moving forward. So really, Glenna and I were talking and we were saying, how can we be a contribution to people to, first of all, recognize when your body is being overwhelmed, when it's shutting down, when it's locking itself in, and then how can we change that? So love that energetic field intro you were giving.
Yeah.
So that's what we'd like to talk about.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's get to it right away. Look, Dr. Glenna, here's the deal. I remember, a bunch of years ago, I went to a rally, one of the LGBT, pride rallies in San Francisco. Now, I have been to a lot of places, done a lot of rallies, women's marches, the whole thing. My stepmom was somebody that marched down in Selma, Alabama. So, I get the whole crowd thing. I get the march thing. But San Francisco put me in trauma. Not only was there so many people, but you couldn't move. You had to move with the mob, right? But the feeling was that you had no freedom, no sense of self, nothing that you were going to be able to do. You were really literally encompassed by mob energy, right? It wasn't bad, but even as such, it was suffocating. Kass, aren't we talking about that? Glenna, aren't we talking about that suffocation that doesn't allow our body to breathe?
Yeah, we really lose the awareness of our body and the awareness of the space we actually have in situations like that. There's so many other energies around us, people around us, and because we really have these bodies that are psychic and aware, and they pick up information from everything all the time, which is actually a huge gift and allows you to create on this planet with all of that stuff. We haven't been trained or haven't learned how to have an ease in situations like that. So we can often lose ourselves, and we're not the only one. How many people in a crowd like that are having the same point of view as you. How many people are feeling overwhelmed? I mean, I don't like concerts and I don't like rallies and I don't like big crowds. Now, if I had to be there, wouldn't it be great to have the tools so I could have ease in those crowds? I mean, there might be some marches that happen in this country that might be really something that I would love to contribute to and have my body there. And my body may be a contribution, but to have the awareness of your body and that it doesn't have to be the effect of any of these things. And also, like Kass was saying, to listen to what it's saying. What is it requiring? What can your body do and be and change in those places that we feel uncomfortable? And it doesn't have to be a big crowd. It could just be sitting watching the news at home and feeling the energy of all of that coming through your TV set.
Yeah.
Or your computer. I don't know
That's
if
why I wanted to bring it up, because body mobbing isn't a literal per se perspective. It is an energetic perspective that allows an individual to assess when we feel like we are being forced to operating in the world at something less than amazing, right?
Exactly. And so many people don't even know what that is, to operate as amazing. So they were so used to it. I mean, I remember when I first started really perceiving the space and the ease in my body, and I was like, oh, wow, I actually recognize this. When did I decide it was a good idea to shut this down? You know? And so really, even as Dr. Glenna was saying, it doesn't have to be in a crowd, or it doesn't have to be in a mob. But sometimes you feel that. I go through the airport a lot, and how many people are feeling overwhelmed at the airport, and we're picking up on that. So just some examples of when your body is feeling that. Today I'm riding around Prague, riding around with a gal in her car and a couple of friends, and I was beginning to feel that. I was like, okay, she's a bit nervous. So immediately recognizing that the body is picking up on that, and then I have some tricks that I use to immediately get more space, and we can talk about that towards giving some tips to people.
Yeah. Let's talk about one of my favorite things to really get into whenever I'm talking about mobbing or bullying. The first thing I love to talk about is how much of a bully my mind can be, right? I want to talk about that. Forget about any kind of outside force for a minute. I got the bully going on in the brain, in the mind, telling me many points in time in my life that at one point I used to think I had a big L on my forehead for loser. Now, look, I am not born into the world like that, but somewhere along the line, I've got this body mobbing going on, starting with the thoughts that are in my consciousness about how I just am not cutting it. Right. So let's start with that. Let's start with that thing, that chatter that goes on, the mob in the mind.
That's great. Well, when we judge our body at all and it's not our point of view, we're usually picking up other people's points of views, and that's the mob we're actually bringing to the table with us. And we become the mobster for our body in that situation. Mobbing is, if you look it up in the Urban Dictionary or in Wikipedia right now, it's when a group of people get together to bully another person, to either get rid of them or to belittle them. Usually someone that's being amazing in the job or something, and they get together and they bully them and harass them and get them out of this situation, try to get them fired or try to destroy them in some way. When you're judging your body based on other people's points of views, you're being that to your body about, when we have the big L on our, when we think our loser, that's not our point of view. We're buying some other point of view somewhere else from that we're not normal. We don't fit in. We're not doing it right based on this reality, based on, your family or a culture or your workplace. It may have nothing to do with you at all. And when you start going into that, you start destroying your body. You start disconnecting. The friendship, the creation that you can have with your body starts to disappear. And then your body has to try to figure out how to go along with these crazy points of views we have in our head.
I love that we're talking about this. I love it. In our culture, right? And cultures around the world, we come up with these bizarro phrases. Okay, Kass, I got to talk to you about this. Bizarro, ridiculous, bizarro things we say. One of them is a trend that I believe has not caught on for very good reasons. And it's this ridiculous phrase called hacking. Hacking. Hacking is, we know it as like, yeah, you say the word hacking, people are like, oh man, don't say that. Like, why? But we're using this phrase to talk about like positive things. It makes your brain want to explode. There's confusion about this. And I want to ask you, Kass, look, we should not be confused about our point of view about ourselves.
Yeah. Can I just ask you a question?
Yeah.
Because hacking to me, I get hacking into your computer, so
Yes.
stealing, so robbing, hacking down a tree, so cutting away at, taking away pieces of you. Is there some other, what
Yes.
positive way are you using that?
Yes, they're starting to use this word to really talk about an energized effort around something, right? I have to tell you, it started about 18 months ago. It just didn't pick up steam. And, you know, when somebody first said that to me, like, hey, let's go down and do the blues music hack. And I'm like, what? What?
Yeah.
But this is what we're talking about here today, because we're confusing in our culture. We confuse ourselves. We're confusing our youth. We're confusing, and one of my least favorite words, that's why I can't even believe I'm using it today. But there's this sense of we don't know who we are. And then when we decide, it's the body mobbing perspective. It's the thing that says, that those 5 pounds I put on, oh my God, I can't come out of my house.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's interesting because we really do know, right? We really do know what works for us. It's quite easy when we're feeling relaxed, when we're feeling joyful. We actually do know that. And then we start buying other people's points of view about how we should feel, you know? And it's funny, Glenna was saying she doesn't like going to concerts. Well, she loves music. So someone might say to Dr. Glenna, hey, what do you mean? You love music. Why don't you like going to concerts? But it's not about the music, you know? So really, I really appreciate your saying it just doesn't click for you, the word hack, because the reality is the vibration of hacking is actually eating away at you or at people. So if we're getting together and hacking, that's not a contributive energy of creation. People want to create by hacking. What they really want to do is diminish you so that you are no longer actually vibrant and there and participating. You're just following the crowd. Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because how much of this do we create in our field of possibilities? How much of this crusty self mobbing or external world mobbing do we allow to enter our field of magnificence, you see? And that's what we're talking about today. You know, are we free of the bondage of that? Or have we just not known over time how it interferes with our possibility, Glenna?
Oh, I think it's that we haven't been clear. We've probably known in some way because we do have a lot of knowing that we don't acknowledge. But you know, this hack, that's kind of funny, the hacking analogy, because yeah, we're stealing possibilities. When we buy into these people's points of views, we're hacking away our own possibilities for greatness and more with our body. And really, it's a choice. It's really our choice. Once you know that this is actually something that can be going on in those situations where you feel confused or uncomfortable, it's then when you have the awareness of ways to change it, then it's your choice to choose what you would like to be, how you would like to show up. It's not something anyone else can make you choose. You have to choose. And you know, we choose to go along with the crowd too. Every time you wake up in the morning and you're upset because you put on 5 pounds, how many points of views are you hearing from the news, from the radio, from that, you know, exercise guy in the gym? How many points of views, spoken or unspoken points of views, are you buying into and hacking away at your possibilities? There's no question in any of this that we're talking about, and being a question with it, like, wow, okay, body, Do you like having the 5 pounds on? Would it be fun to lose it? If we lost it, how easy could that be for us? Then it's a possibility. It's not a diminishment of you.
Yeah,
And
I love what we're talking about. When we come back, we're going to talk about what does this mean as we look at our perspectives on life. How do we stop becoming our own mob? How do we stop ourselves at some point, have the awareness that we are contributing to something less than we were ever meant to be? This is the time to stop. When we come back, we're going to be talking with Dr. Glenna Rice, Kass Thomas, about what do we do? How do we find it? And what happens at the point of awareness? So, like when we become aware, we don't add on to the bullying, right? We don't look at the shame and the guilt, but we enter the world of possibilities. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Body mobbing. Yes. Dr. Glenna Rice, special guest, Kass Thomas joining us here today. Before we get into this new level of awareness, the moment that the light bulb goes on, my mom used to say, "Oh, honey, I can't wait for you to grow up when that light bulb goes on." We're going to talk about that for a minute. But before we do, how can we find out more about you, Dr. Glenna? How can we find out more about you, Kass? How can we talk about what you all have planned here in the near future to help people with this? Glenna, you want to go first?
Yeah. Easiest way to find me, glennarice.com, and in the works, very close, weeks away, drglennarice.com. I think I've said that for a month now, so it's happening. New website. And if you want to find out all the classes I have up and the one I have with Kass that we'll have to talk about, it's accessconsciousness.com/drglennarice. Quick and easy way to find my schedule. And Kass and I have something amazing. It's coming up in Paris in March. We're co-facilitating a class, which we've co-facilitated before, but it's been a while, and I love creating with Kass on the planet. So I'm so looking forward to it. She's one of my favorite people ever, and we're gonna rock Paris with a 3-day body class. And Kass, you want to say what the easiest way?
Ooh la la, ooh la la. You know, I love Paris in the springtime, and we're gonna bring in the spring in Paris, actually, the 19th to the 21st of March. And yes, Kass Thomas, KASSTHOMAS.com. So that's the easy way to find me, and also on accessconsciousness.com/Kass Thomas. And also on The Art of Being Kass on Facebook. So The Art of Being Kass, yeah. And that's a bit what we're talking about, the art of being you, isn't it? Really.
It is.
And recognizing that. I don't know if you want to take it and intro it, or I just wanted to.
No, do it. Let's just do it. Let's go, ladies. Let's just do this.
Mention a couple of things. This might be a little bit out there. You know, Dr. Glenn is talking about our awareness and how much awareness we have when we start feeling reduced, when we start feeling overwhelmed, when we start feeling mobbed and bullied, right? And it is actually, as Glenna said, it is actually a great talent and ability to be able to recognize that. What we usually do is shut that off, and those strong women, and I'm here with 2 very strong women, move forward, push forward, right? And that we've been doing all of our lives, and therefore we're still alive, we're still here, and we're enjoying our lives and our creations. And what if there's another way? So
Mm.
that's what we're talk about. What if there's another way? You don't have to do it all alone. You don't have to push forward. And please, you do not have to ignore when you first feel that inkling of, something's off here. Because in those crowds, in those situations where there's lots of people, there's mobs around, the more sensitive you are to when your body starts feeling overwhelmed, the more you're aware that maybe something's happening that's not only not going to be good for you, but that's actually going to create a mobbing in the situation. In a crowd, when people start rushing through, you were talking about, Dr. Pat, you follow the crowd. You were in San Francisco and you literally had to move with the crowd, right?
Yeah.
Being in your own rhythm and sensing the rhythm of what's going on allows you to make some choices that can save your bum.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what we're talking about is I like to think about things in threes. I don't know why that is, but I like to think about things in threes. The first thing one, is you become aware that something about the way that you are being with your beautiful self is not beautiful. Something about even, oh my God, am I going to go off on this for a minute? Look, I work with women in recovery of all ages. And for a period of time, I kind of bit my lip, bit my tongue, because it was this expression. And the expression was, duh. And I'm like, ugh. Like, look at you both. Like, has everybody ever, you talk to somebody and they're like, well, Kass, duh. And you're like, well, what they're saying is like stupid. And I'm thinking to myself, why do we pick these energies up? And so, what we're talking about today is helping folks start at a really good place wherever you are. Give folks some tools to say, even if you're talking like that to yourself, you are bleeping amazing. Even if you're doing that, we just want to help folks today create a different point of view, which opens up the door to possibilities, which then they can walk through and recognize how beautiful they really are. Right? Kass, Glenna?
I love that. You said, why do we pick these things up? And it's actually because our bodies are amazing, because our bodies are incredible, that we pick these up. Why is a question that contend, you're defending things when you do why questions.
Oh my gosh.
But we pick everything up because that's what our bodies are. That's what our bodies be. They pick up energies. It's our points of views about the energies that creates the discomfort and the uncomfortableness and the frustration and the sadness and the anger and the fight and everything else we've been talking about. It's our points of views about these energies that we're picking up. What Kass was saying, let's say you're in a mob or not in a mob. You're just, on the planet, which has got its billion mob. It's a big mob we live with.
Yeah. Like, hey, look, the New York subway at rush hour. That's like a mob. Oh,
Exactly.
Oh my God. Right. Kass, you should see the picture of me. Now, if you can imagine me like a bunch of years younger, right? Being late for the subway and literally hurdling the metal bar that you're supposed to walk through. But that's what the mob does. The mob energy creates this ridiculous illusion of urgency and loss and fear. And today we are here to say no mas with any of that.
Yeah. And this is a gift, like having these energies. I remember the time, it's not a mob, but it was a day there was a school shooting in America. Now, it didn't happen where I live, but I woke up that morning feeling really strange, and the kids wouldn't get out of bed. And I was yelling at them, get out of bed. You're going to be late for school. Get out of bed. And all three of them were like, I don't want to, I don't feel bad, doing all these things that I first went into. They're just being, lazy this morning. None of them are sick. What's going on? They need to get to school. I didn't want them around all day. I like to have them at school. I'd give my days would be free. And then I just had this awareness. What is, I just asked a question about the awareness of what is this? I got, should they go to school today? Yes or no? No. And I got this big no. Now, what was I aware of? How sensitive was my body to what was going on in the country that day, which is the mob energy? And I recognized it. And I said, okay, you guys can stay home, go back to bed. Now, it wasn't for about another hour that I saw the news, what had been going on. It wasn't in their school, but it was still an energy that was everywhere. And having the sensitivity that we tend to make so wrong, that we want to get away from, is actually the sensitivity that can actually save your, butt in a situation, in the subway, or in, the group, or just sitting in your home. Your body tells you and shares information about everything that's going on if you don't judge this stuff as a wrongness.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you acknowledge it, if you acknowledge how much information your body is giving you, and it's about actually coming back to you, and that's what you did, right? That's the advice would like to, because you did that. You like, wait a minute. Okay, I'm in my mind judging the kids. Let me come back to me. What do I know? What do I know is going on here?
Exactly.
And those might be energies that are, like you said, energies, events, movement going on. Movement is energy, right? Movement going on somewhere. Okay, so what is this? Great access consciousness question. It's really simple. Okay, so truth, what is this? Right? And when you're willing to ask that question, there is a silence that precedes the knowledge, the information that rains upon you. If you're not willing to ask it, like you said, Dr. Pat, and you go into that loser, liar, failure. Why are you acting like this, body? Why am we're nervous? We have to. No, you don't have to. Deep breath in. Okay, so what is going on? What am I aware of? Great question. What am I aware of, right, that I'm not getting at the moment?
Yeah. And let's take a short break. When we come back, we're going to finish the rest of the show without any breaks or interruptions. Because if there was a show that was more important to do right now than ever before, it's this one. When we come back, we're going to talk about the many questions we ask ourselves that don't get us to where we want to go, and what some of the questions might be to get us there. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Yeah, look, let us put an end to mobbing ourselves. Stop it. Yeah, look, before we go and talk about this, there are many things we're going to talk about in this next segment, and that's why we're going to skip the break. Because part of the dialogue is to provide people with solutions, to provide people with a new level of awareness to open up the door to possibility, and then to recognize when that door is even in front of us. But before we do, again, how can we find out more about each of you? Where are you going to be? What you going to be doing other than Kass and I going to play table tennis, ping pong?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on KassThomas.com, and also on The Art of Being Kass on Facebook, and 7steps.us is actually my website as well. So you can find me on there and everything we're doing. And Dr. Glenna and I will be playing together in Paris. Woohoo!
Oh my! Well, you got to be ping pong? No, right? Not table tennis.
Might play some ping pong.
Okay, good.
With the olives in our martini, I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. How about you, Dr. Glenna?
GlennaRice.com. and accessconscious.com/Dr. Glenna Rice, and also Facebook, Dr. Glenna Rice DPT. Find me on Facebook, message me there. It's an easy way to find me too. Yeah, I'm really excited. This class we're doing, this 3-day body class, is one of the it's one of the only classes I know of that exists that actually allows you to really start opening up this stuff we've been talking about. So you can actually ask the question, like Kass was saying, what is this? And wait for the awareness, because there's so many things that we've done to create these densities in our body and solidify it and not listen to it. This reality is basically designed so we never listen to it. Everything it says is usually turned into some other thing. Everything it's talking, all the energies it's sharing with us. And this class starts to open up energetically and physically start to change these ways that we stop. We have our fingers in our ears, literally. And we're not hearing our body because of these densities and decisions and conclusions we've made about what bodies are and what these energies are that we're feeling. So just the question, what is this, starts to open up a door to something so different. And with this class, we're talking about these body processes with Access. The subtlety of listening to the language of the body starts to get louder and louder and softer at the same time.
Yeah, and I've just got to say, one of the gifts, and we love playing with this, that we invite people to, is to access what they know. It's one of the questions we're almost annoying with that question, but we're annoying because we ask the same question. And Dr. Pat, you wanted to first talk about some questions we ask that actually don't move us forward. But one of the questions we ask that does move us forward in this class is, what do you know? And people start really listening to the language of their body so that they can detect when they are being mobbed, overwhelmed, judged, and also when they are receiving information that may not be in written form. That can be information from things going around in the world, things going on the planet, guardian angels, entities, demons, all that kind of stuff. We are absolutely aware of all of that, and asking that simple question, what is this? And having the awareness of the list, which will give us different things that really invade your space and get you out of your stellar brilliance, like you said, Dr. Pat. Having that awareness is vital, especially in this age of technology and the increased activity of all kinds of lethal things on the planet.
Yeah. Thank you both for this. Now, let's get at the questions. And I love questions. I do. I mean, I never thought in a million years when I was growing up in the Bronx that I would be this radio chick that got to ask people some of the most interesting questions that I have no idea where they come from. But outside of those questions, there are questions that I've asked myself in life. I used to have nightmares after I graduated from college, right? From my doctoral program, which, by the way, I never thought I was worthy of, didn't understand how it even happened. I was afraid people will find out I was an imposter. So here I go, and I'm finishing the thing, graduate, dissertation wins award, postdoctorate wins award, and for a year, I would wake up in the dead middle of the night with the same dream of somebody knocking on my door and coming to my house and taking that away. Now, I bring that up because it shows I am human like everybody else. I have my doubts and I have my fears. But because I've started this radio show in 2003, I learned a few things. But even with that, we are being mobbed by doubt, by fear, by reduced self-worth, by the plague of not enoughness. And that is not the energy of possibility. What are some of the questions you have found that people share with you that talk to the issue of I am not enough, and how do you help them? I'd like to hear from both of you because you work with people all over the world. I don't think my story is an anomaly. I think I am sitting there with the many, many other people everything from, I think my husband's going to leave me, and your husband just bought you like a $5 million ring, and you're still thinking, oh, my husband's going to leave me. I don't have that person in my life, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, this is that one of the questions we talked, I think, a little bit on the last show or a few shows ago. Who does it belong to? You know, who does that energy belong to? Your husband's going to leave you. Is that yours, or is that the neighbor's? You know, who's or is it 1,000 people that are married on the planet, or 1,000,000 people married on the planet? Is it the soap opera you listened to when you were 5 years old, sitting with your mom on the couch or something like that? Is that even your point of view? So many of the things, because we're picking up these energies all the time, we don't know that they're not ours. We aren't I mean, we don't recognize that are not ours. So when you start asking, is this mine or someone else's? Is this my energy? Is this actually me being me? Or am I being someone else? Is this actually even true? And ask these questions and looking for the awareness, and you can start having clarity about what's not yours. You can actually start being you and having more awareness of you on the planet. And the funny that you were talking about not being enough, there is a funny thing about many of us on the planet is nothing's ever really going to ever be enough for us, because what we do is we create, and we're creating all the time, and that's where we get the most joy. And if you stop us from creating, we're going to be gone in a week. That's what we do. So that energy of it's never enough is more of an energy of what else is possible, because nothing's ever going to be enough, because we're never going to, until we stop, we're always going to continue to creating. So just turning that point of view around, it's like, I'm never going to be enough. It's like, well, what could I be? It was even more. What else is possible here I have never considered? And spiraling yourself out of these crazy places in our head with questions that open doors. Do you have more to say on that, Kass?
Yeah, just that, you know, and you are absolutely not alone with that. And it's, you know, especially people, we've talked about this before, the three of us also, that have developed their cognitive capacities through universities and stuff like that. We sometimes want to know, well, what exactly is this, right? So having the awareness, like Glenna said, that the possibility that it may not be yours. We do pick up on other people's thoughts very easily. We know when someone's pissed off, you know what I mean? And we know when someone's really liking us, and we know a whole bunch of other stuff in between there. So it may be one of the questions, you know, who does this belong to? Is this mine? We love to take from Roisin, Glenna's daughter. Is this even mine? And if it goes away the moment you ask that, if it lightens up, if you don't have that panic, if you don't feel body mobbed, it probably wasn't, and you don't have to resolve it. You don't have to deal with it. If it's gone, don't try to deal with it. The other thing I wanted to say, which came to me when you were asking that question, you know, oh my goodness, my husband just got me a $5,000 gift, and I think he's going to leave me. You know, perhaps it happened to you some time in some other existence, some other lifetime. You know, perhaps it's an awareness from a past that you may not cognitively have available to you. So we use this tool in Access, I believe I can say it, everything that is. I pock and pot it. Means go to the point of creation, wherever that was. I don't even have to know when it was. And I'm now going to destroy it. Pock and pot it, just say that, it really works miracles. It changes the energy of feeling mobbed and feeling overwhelmed in your body and feeling panic ridden, you know? And I use this question and demand a lot in airports, anytime I'm feeling that kind of thing. Expand. Expand. Do not just look at the brick wall in front of you. Expand. And sometimes I use it as a mantra. Expand, 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 expand. Come on, buddy. Expand, 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 expand.
Yeah, let's go with this, Glenna. You know, if I think about how powerful we are, how absolutely powerful we are, and yet science has us maybe using 8% of our mental conscious ability, maybe 8. I think they bumped it up. I'm not sure why, but I think they bumped it up. Somehow somebody figured it out. The gap between what we use and what we're capable of using has got to live in the realm of possibility. It's got to.
Yeah.
I have thought about this a long time, probably past lives, Kass. And the only thing I can come up with is the degree by which we will allow ourselves to live in the energy of possibility. What do you both think about that? And how have you helped people go from what I call the probability syndrome? Because there is a probability syndrome, by the way. You know that, right? Where you think about your life as a crapshoot and you get the dice and you're like, boom, oh, I got like a 1 in 500 million chance of being successful. Well, ouch.
But you have one chance. You do have a chance. That's the one you want.
Roll them dice. Yep, there we go.
That's great probability syndrome. How about possibility syndrome?
How about possibility syndrome?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was some story about a used car salesman during the 1990s depression. You know, things were slowing down in business, and he was selling all these cars. And the guy said, what are you doing so different?" He goes, "People still have to buy cars." And I'm the only one that has that point of view, so everyone's coming to me is pretty much what was going on. You know, it's not a crapshoot, it's our choice. What if it wasn't a crapshoot? Would you have more fun with your life if you didn't have that point of view? If you weren't a victim of everything that's going on and things just happen to you? What if nothing actually happens to you? What if you're the creator of everything in your life? And the people that we work with, you know, Kass would probably say this, the people that get that, even the awful stuff, the stuff we just cannot believe could have ever been something we created. When you get that, wow, yeah, you did have a part somewhere, you had something in the creation, part of the creation of everything, and you are the creator of your life. The people that get that are the ones that start changing everything. When you know that you create everything, the crap and the wonderful stuff, then you can choose, wow, what do I want to create today? More crap or something better, something greater? You know?
Absolutely. And I love you talking about change, because change possibilities is about the willingness to change, right? And probability is basically this sort of loyalty to the past, right? Or to the already written script, right? So when we're talking about possibilities, you've got to be willing to change. And that's not always comfortable for our 8%, you know, and that's on a good day, 8% mind, right? However, it stimulates the other parts and invites them to activate themselves and contribute to that 8% that has been keeping us alive up until now.
Yeah.
But that's not enough for us. Like Glenna said,
Yeah.
You're always looking for more. That's not enough for us. You know, somehow, unfortunately, I do look at people who are quite satisfied with their lives and their daily routines. And you know, there is a bit of a split second, wow, isn't that cool? But I know that it wouldn't be enough for me. Ever.
Yeah. Let's just be really clear about this, because, you know, I could see the emails and the text messages coming in. The only person that I can manage is me. I don't know what's right for you, what's right for our listeners, because here we are. What I love about humanity, us as human beings, yeah, we've got our like issues, but still, we have the ability to manage what we choose, how we choose it, and when we choose it. See, we have that ability to do that. And what I want to ask each of you, really interesting dilemma I'm in. PR people say to me, Pat, when are you going to write the book? Right, Glenna?
I get that all
right,
the time.
Right, Kass? When are you going to write the book?
I had this conversation just last month.
My answer has always been I don't, it's not that I don't want to write the book, because I do believe there's a message. It's just, I have struggled with how to write a book that they're going to like. So I let go of that last month. Did you both let go of that yet? Have you let go of that?
Kass has written a few books. She's
So you okay? You're like I'm like preaching to the choir with you, Kass.
But I have not. And
you know what?
Good question.
Gary Douglas is the founder of Access Conscious, and he just said something about writing a book, and I hope that this is helpful to you. The book that you're going to write today is not going to be reflecting who you are tomorrow.
That's right.
However, how many millions, and I'm going to say millions in referring to you too, of people are going to be in the situation you are today in the future. So what you write today does not have to reflect who you are tomorrow. However, it will be a contribution, even this conversation, even transcribing this conversation and getting it to somebody. Wow, you mean I could live differently? I could live in a different way? So I'm just hoping that the people who are going to read your book are going to be in that situation at the moment they find that book, and it's going to be a contribution.
It is. But you know, I mean, Glenna, is it just me or do you battle with this? But I got insight. I actually went into my little meditation and I asked the question. I did. And believe me, I don't know why I didn't ask a question about this before, Glenna. Glenna's like looking at me, really? All the years we've been doing this, right? And I asked a question. Here's the answer I got. The question I got was, what would you see yourself speaking about on stage today, tomorrow, and 10 years from now? And the answer came to me before I could take a breath in, before I could inhale. Possibilities. So the book and what happened to me in the next 5 minutes, it came to me. Everything from developing a possibility IQ quotient on what that looks like, everything about possibilities, because that's the way I've lived my life from day one. And the minute that happened and I stepped away, in came the fear and the doubt. So here's the question as we wrap this up. How can we help people hold on to their absolute knowing so that the mob doesn't destroy our dreams and our essence?
Oh, that's great to end with. Yeah, the mob mentality doesn't come in. Fear and doubt are distractions from creating, period. They're not true. They're not real. They're not how you create. So when those things show up, that's where the questions, that's what, what Kass has been talking about, being that space where you can access what you know and access what's true for you and access an awareness of what choosing now is going to create for the future. So, that would be, wow, okay, so if just going right into question, if I write this book, what is that going to create? What is my future going to be like in 5 years, in 6 weeks, in 10 years? Start seeing what your choice is going to start creating. That is the doubt and the fear have a really hard time taking hold when you can see the expansiveness of what you're creating in the future. At least for me, that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're like stomped growth, fear and doubt. Because fear is that sort of that beginning feeling of excitement, and you've stopped it at the fear level. Maybe if you were to turn it up, how much more fear could I feel here that would go into an excitement level, And doubt is sort of you're questioning yourself. So maybe you could turn it up and expand that also. Expand the fear and you let it get to excitement and right? Expand the doubt and have it not only question you, but question everything and everyone and give you more possibilities. So what if that were a talent that you are judging as something wrong? That ability to even perceive what you're calling fear, maybe it's excitement and you're stopping it by judging it. And maybe that doubt is actually you're questioning, but you just stop it at you.
I've got the topic for the next show we're going to do together.
Okay.
You see, that's who you are, girl.
Here
I love
is.
that.
Get ready for this. The power of the word can't. The power of can't. Why? Are we going to talk about that?
I know.
Anytime anybody has ever said to me, Pat, you can't do that. You're too old. The rubber that you put on your table tennis paddle is too fast for you. Anytime anybody has said that to me, I've gone in one or two directions. Yeah, I'll show you. Or yeah, I agree. We got to talk about those two choices. Thank you both. Websites, please. Glenna, Kass.
GlennaRice.com, easy. And KassThomas.com. We both have our names.com. It's our website.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Make my
exactly.
day. Tell me I can't do something. Thank you both. Thank you all for tuning
Thank
us
you,
in and
Dr.
turning us
Glenna.
on.
And you can't
Yeah.
write that book.
Exactly.
Oh
Come see
my
us in
gosh.
Paris in March 19 to 21.
All right, I'm on it. But only if
Join
I
the
could stay
Paris.
at your house for the table tennis tournament in France. All right,
Ab-
everybody, we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. We'll be right back.
Thank you for listening to Questionable Conversations Radio with Dr. Glenna Rice. Tune in each month on TransformationTalkRadio.com as Dr. Glenna explores different parenting methods, examines healthier lifestyles, and explores what else is possible to guide you toward a successful career. For more information or to listen to past shows, visit glennarice.com. That's glennarice.com. See you next time.